Jungkook treated us to a new livestream on Weverse, spending almost an hour connecting with everyone, something many of us had been eagerly anticipating. His presence felt familiar once again, like that energy we miss when it's absent for a while. And as always, remembering him also brings that feeling of missing Taehyung and the Taekook dynamic that so many fans cherish. During the stream, Jungkook was natural and approachable, that signature style of his that blends simplicity with an effortless charm. His way of speaking, moving, and focusing on everything he does maintains that image so many admirers recognize and enjoy. Once again, he made it clear that when he dedicates himself to something, he does it with precision and attention to detail. Even when cutting a potato, his meticulous work ethic was evident, even slices, careful movements, and that characteristic concentration he displays when cooking. Jungkook mentioned that he was accompanied by a childhood friend, someone he's known since kindergarten in Busan. According to him, their relationship is so close that they can joke around without filters, demonstrating the trust they've shared for so many years. Seeing him spend time with someone so important to him revealed an everyday side that's also part of his life offstage. At several points during the live stream, Jungkook showed a calm, fun-loving, and relaxed side. His light-hearted laughter, the way he enjoyed cooking, and his spontaneous comments created a breezy atmosphere that made many feel connected during that hour. For fans who closely follow the interactions between him and Taehyung, it was also impossible not to recall that dynamic that the Taekook fandom easily recognizes without needing to explicitly mention it. He also spoke briefly about his routine, his simple plans, and how he's spending these days. It was clear he's spending time with close friends like Taehyung, Eunwoo, and longtime friends, something fans interpret as a sign that he's staying focused on his personal circle and what provides him with stability. These observations, which often arise within the fandom itself, are part of how followers interpret its movements and connections, always from the perspective of those who have observed its history for years. Within the fandom, many fans describe Jungkook's eyes as something special, warm, expressive, and capable of conveying more than he says. In these interpretations, those eyes reflect a mixture of affection, shared experiences, and a history built over years with Taehyung, especially for those who follow the Taekook narrative as a couple. For these fans, Jungkook projects constant affection toward Taehyung, and that sparkle is interpreted as a solid connection, the result of everything they have shared over time. Taekook has remained united through many difficult and everyday moments, strengthening what their followers perceive as a deep bond. The idea of two men in love is part of what Taekook fans consider the essence of their relationship. One of the most cited examples occurs when Jungkook, noticing that Taehyung wasn't feeling well, gave him a subtle signal with a small nod. That simple gesture was enough for Taehyung to know he could lean on him. The way Taehyung naturally settled next to Jungkook is seen by many as an act that demonstrates familiarity, trust, and an immediate understanding between them. For Taekook fans, these moments showcase an almost domestic dynamic, where each knows what the other needs without needing to speak. Another frequently mentioned episode is the one on the plane, where Taehyung leaned towards Jungkook and rested his body against him. For many of us, this moment is one of the most representative of the closeness they identify in Taekook, and it's often cited as a clear example of the mutual attention that has become characteristic of their relationship. These gestures represent the reality they choose to follow, in contrast to other narratives created around the group or within the industry. This includes critical stances towards what they consider content produced solely for commercial purposes, as is the case with the show Are You Sure? Some fans express that the format has generated negative comments about Jungkook, even though he is simply fulfilling a job agreed upon with the company. Many fans point out that it's impossible for a show filmed in another country to be spontaneous, given the logistics involved in booking flights, hotels, permits, and everything else required for an international production. Based on this, they believe the show follows a script and not Jungkook's personal choices. From this perspective, his smiles on camera are understood as part of his job and not necessarily an expression of his true emotional state. Therefore, many of us shouldn't be swayed by what we perceive as attempts to create different narratives or relationships that don't align with what we've observed over time. The main advice for Taekook fans is to trust what they both show when they're together and the naturalness of those moments. It's there that the stability, companionship, and connection that so many have interpreted as the core of their relationship are reflected. If you observe closely, it's clear that Taehyung and Jungkook have a particular way of seeking each other out, even when they're not speaking. It's not exaggerated or rehearsed, it arises from simple gestures that seem casual but reveal a natural coordination between them. Every small movement they share stands out because they don't repeat it with other people. That's why every broadcast, every public appearance, and every moment they share ends up drawing attention. It's not about grand gestures, but about the way they connect without needing to say anything directly. This way of acting leads many Taekook fans to understand their interactions as something that goes beyond standard behavior between colleagues. Despite this, there are those who prefer to think that everything is strictly guided by the show's format or a pre-established script. For these groups, what Jungkook shows on camera would only be part of his job responsibilities, not an authentic reflection of his off-screen interaction. From that perspective, any gesture can be interpreted as a professional requirement and not a personal choice. However, for those who have been observing them unfiltered for some time, the conclusion is usually different. These fans recommend not getting caught up in theories that try to pair Jungkook with other people or create parallel narratives that don't align with what they've seen for years. The main suggestion has always been to focus on what Taehyung and Jungkook show when they're together, without needing external comparisons. That's where the relationship appears most stable, clear, and direct. One of the most noticeable aspects is the way Jungkook looks at Taehyung. It's not a style of gaze he uses with just anyone. He doesn't have the same closeness, the same attention, or that kind of calm he exudes when he's with him. Interestingly, neither of them seems to do it consciously, it just happens. It's as if they understand that this shared space is theirs, even when there are cameras, an audience, or noise around. This security in their shared space, without needing to speak, is evident to anyone willing to observe carefully. The most striking moments don't depend on grand pronouncements. They tend to be subtle details, the way they adjust their posture while walking, how they lean slightly towards each other during a group conversation, the attention they pay to each other's changing expressions, or the ease with which they coordinate without exchanging words. These are brief actions, but very clear to those who already recognize their dynamic. Over time, this way of interacting has formed a kind of language between them. It's not based on lengthy explanations, but on a quick reading of gestures and the comfort they share. That's why many fans believe there's no need to overcomplicate it. The relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook is best understood when viewed as it is, without external additions and without trying to fit it into theories that don't align with their actions. In short, what stands out about Taekook isn't exaggerated or done to attract attention. What stands out is the natural way they interact, the effortless way their gestures align, and the ease with which they create their own space, even in crowded places. Anyone who has observed them closely recognizes this without difficulty. They communicate in a different way, one in which they don't need many words to understand each other.